I know what you're doing, and I want to catch you, but I don't want you to know that I caught you till I want you to know that I caught you. Hey y'all, welcome and/or welcome back to my channel. My name is Janae, if you didn't know, and today's video is another true crime episode. So if you're ready, let's go. All right, y'all. So I have two very random things to talk about before I get into today's case. So if you're just trying to hop straight into the case and you don't really want to hear what I'm talking about, then here is a timestamp for you to hop straight into the video. But for those of you who love to interact with me before the video starts, here we go. So number one, why nobody ain't told me that Abbott Elementary was so funny? Why has no one told me how funny Abbott Elementary is? Because I just started watching it, I want to say 2 days ago. And the fact that Tyler James's name on the show is Greg, and his best friend's name was Greg in Everybody Hates Chris, iconic. Absolutely iconic. Absolutely love that. I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, but Quinta Brunson, yes. And I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't watch it when it first started, because it's so many seasons for me to catch up on, and I'm just like knocking them back to back to back to back to back. So yes, I love that show now. The next very random thing that I have to talk about is that, yeah, I was sitting down thinking the other day, and matter of fact, I think it was last night before I went to bed, and I was really in my mind like, I really don't know how to be nobody parent. I really don't know how to be a mama. I got 3 kids, and I've had 3 kids for quite a while. My youngest is 7, so I've had 3 children for at least 7 years. And then my oldest is 13, so I've been a mama for 13, right? But I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, my kids are fed. Yes, they are bathed. They have clean clothes. They look nice. We do things. We have activities. I make their doctor's appointments. They go to the dentist every 6 months, change their toothbrushes every 3 months. But baby, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to be nobody's mama. I'm still somebody's child. I'm really just winging it, is what I'm trying to say. I'm winging it as a parent. Day by day, situation by situation, I'm learning as I go. But here I am, here we are, thriving and surviving. And I say all of that to say that if you a parent and you hard on yourself, girl, we doing the damn thing. And daddy, if you a daddy, you doing the damn thing too. As long as you ain't doing nothing that will end you up as a case on my channel or as a feature on my channel, then I would like to say that you're doing an amazing job. Anyway, that's all I'm trying to say, y'all. Don't be so hard on yourself as a parent, because we literally are just winging it. Day by day, situation by situation, we making it work. So yeah, now with all of that out the way, let's go ahead and hop into today's case. And if you've been rocking with me for a little minute now, then you already know that we are going from the bandos to the burbs of America in alphabetical order. So from Alabama to Wyoming, and today we're in Vermont. Townsend, Vermont to be exact. And we're with a man named Stephen Lott, who was actually born Norman Stephen Lott on July 30th, 1954 in Montclair, New Jersey. He was one of 5 kids born to his parents, Norman and June Ellen Lott. And when he was about 14 or 15 years old, his parents moved the family from New Jersey to Vermont. And this is where Stephen would eventually graduate from Leland and Gray Union High School. And post-graduation, Stephen decided to stay in Vermont, where he eventually planted roots and started a family with a woman named Susan. And he and Susan would end up getting married and have 3 sons together, Kaylin, Brenton, and Jameis. And Stephen absolutely loved and adored his family. He loved being a husband and a father, and he provided for his family by being a woodworker. And he was a damn good one at that. So much so that he and Susan were able to own and operate a family business called Townsend Furniture for upwards of 20 years. And aside from being a woodworker, Steve was also a pilot. Now, it never said if he was a commercial pilot or he just had his pilot's license, but nonetheless, it is stated that he loved flying over West River Valley. Now, I really don't know where West River Valley is, but Steve liked to fly over it, so yeah. And he was generally just an overall adventurous type of guy. He enjoyed doing all kinds of things like fishing, gardening, cooking, sailing. And like I said, above all of these things, Stephen absolutely loved being a father to his 3 boys. So it wasn't ideal when he and Susan would end up splitting later on in life. But hey, life is life, and life happened, and Stephen and Susan just grew apart, because honestly, I really don't feel like there was no animosity or no bad blood between them. I really do just think that they grew apart. Now, at some point after Stephen and Susan split, he would meet another woman named Robin O'Neill. And he and Robin started dating in early 2014. And at some point, Robin and Stephen made the choice for Robin to move in with him. And things in this relationship moved pretty quickly because they started dating in early 2014, and by July of 2014, the two of them were engaged. But just 2 months after the engagement, in September of 2014, the relationship started shifting in a negative direction. And it all started when one of Stephen's neighbors who lived part-time in California came back to Vermont. And I don't know, when I read this, it was very much giving rich. It was very much giving, I love Vermont, but I do not love the cold. So I'm gonna go hang out over here in California during the winter and I'll be back in the summer. Anyways, this neighbor's name is never revealed in any of the court documents. And so I'm gonna just call this person Neighbor. I don't really feel like giving them a name, so we just gonna call them Neighbor. So now, once the neighbor is back in Vermont, Stephen starts spending a lot of time down at the neighbor's house. And this neighbor is a woman, and Robin is not too fond of Stephen always spending time down to the neighbor's house. And to be honest, I don't blame her. Because sir, what you going down there for when you got a whole house up the street with me in it? And so Robin and Stephen would constantly get into arguments about him spending so much time down at this neighbor's house. And it really didn't help that Robin apparently had a drinking problem, which is probably why Stephen was always down at the neighbor's house, because he didn't want to deal with Robin's drunk ass. But then Robin would always get mad that he was down at the neighbor's house, and when he came back, she would argue with him and then be drunk, and then Stephen would go back to the neighbor's house, and it was just a vicious cycle of like, girl, you is drunk, I'm leaving, and then nigga, why is you down at this woman's house when you got me right here? But then girl, you drunk. I don't want to deal with this. And eventually the arguments turned physical, where Robin would be putting hands on Stephen. And Stephen, needing a friend to lean on for support, will go down to the neighbor's house. And there will be times when Stephen went down to the neighbor's house where Robin will follow him down there. And it wasn't like a blatant, I'm behind you, I'm following you, I see you, I know where you're going type of follow. It was more like, I know you about to go down there and I'm a sneak and creep and I'm gonna catch you down there type of thing. But I'm not gonna tell you that I caught you, I'm gonna just know that you was there. So she would go down to the neighbor's house after Stephen, and she would listen at the window to see what they was talking about. Like, she was stalking the man, really. And I mean, to be fair, I get it. We've all been there. We've all been potentially that stalker girlfriend, that stalker boyfriend, where I know what you're doing and I want to catch you, but I don't want you to know that I caught you till I want you to know that I caught you type of deal, right? Like, I'm gonna pull up a conversation that you and this woman had when you thought I didn't know. We've all had that crazy girlfriend era, but I feel like it was like in our late teens, early 20s. And I don't know if there's an age cap on the crazy, but I just feel like 64 is a little old. You know? And then that's not even the extent of her nonsense. Okay? So one day in October of 2014, Robin, who was presumably drunk at the time, hit Stephen in the head with some damn firewood. And I don't know if y'all have seen firewood. I don't know if y'all know what firewood looks like. Firewood is thick. So yeah, after she hits him with this firewood, he tries to get out of Dodge as soon as possible, and he flees down to the neighbor's house. And I ain't even gonna hold you. If I was Robin, I would think some funny business was going on between Stephen and the neighbor too, because why is you always carrying your ass down there when we having problems? What's really going on? But that don't give her the right though. That don't give her the right to stalk or hit the man. But I'm just saying, I would think a little bit of funny business was going on too. Anyways, when Stephen gets down there after Robin hit this man with some firewood, the neighbor reported that Stephen seemed to be unfocused and in distress. And she said that she thought he might have a head injury. And so she touched his head to see if he got a knot or if it's bleeding, right? And as soon as she touched this man's head, they heard somebody tapping on the storm door. So they like, who's there? And she said that she heard a female voice reply, but she or Stephen couldn't make out the words that the woman had said. And so Stephen goes to open the door. And when he did, he slammed it real quick. The neighbor wasn't able to see who was at the door, but she said she did hear a car drive away real fast. Now, like I said, she never saw who it was, so we can only presume and almost be sure that it was Robin at the door, which is why Steven slammed the door so fast. And also, we can presume that it was Robin because Robin told one of her friends that she had did her usual follow Steven down to the neighbor's house and listen at the window, and she heard the neighbor tell Steven that she needs to get rid of Robin. And I mean, Robin, can you really blame the lady for telling Steven that he needs to get away from you? You done hit the man in the head with firewood. Now, I don't know, but that sounds like some pretty sound advice to me. So now anyways, November 15th rolls around, and it is this day that sets in motion the complete devastation that happens in this case. So it is on this day that Robin tells one of her friends named Mike that she and Steven are no longer engaged. She says that Steven has called off the engagement. And so Robin do what Robin do, and she start drinking. And later on that afternoon, Steven goes down to the neighbor's house to fix a vacuum cleaner. And while Steven is down at the neighbor's house, the neighbor and Steven's mutual friend named Rob stops by the neighbor's house. And he said the three of them is just chopping it up, chit-chatting, having a good time, when he see a car roll by. And he notices that it's Robin. And he didn't give no thought to it because, you know, maybe she leaving the neighborhood to go do something, right? Then he see the car drive by again. Once again, didn't even think about it because she had just went somewhere. She got to come home, so maybe she's just on her way home, right? But then Rob said he saw Robin drive by again, and then again, and again, and again after that. He said in a total he saw this woman drive by the neighbor's house 6 times. And again, this woman is 64 years old. So now Steven ends up going home, and when he get there, he and Robin get into yet another argument. And this time, instead of Robin putting hands on Steven, Steven said, "You're not gonna get me," and he put hands on Robin. And this arguing and fighting went well into the night, to the point where they was in bed, like getting ready to go to sleep, arguing. So they in the bed fussing and cussing when Robin reaches over to the drawer of her nightstand. And when she does this, Steven said, "Oh, hell no." Before Robin could even roll back over, Steven was up and out. He said he didn't know what she was reaching for, and he did not care to find out. He scooped up some clothes, threw them bad boys on, and ran out the house. And I bet y'all know where he ran to. I bet you know where he ran to. I ain't even gotta say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. He ran straight to the neighbor's house. And the neighbor and her daughter said that when he got to their house, he seemed disheveled and scared. And I don't know how long he stayed there, and I don't know when he went back to his house, but the next day rolls around. So it's November 16th now, 2014. And somebody is casually driving by the neighbor's house. I'm presuming that it was another one of the neighbors. And they said that they see Robin walking and creeping around the backside of the neighbor's house. And they said that Steven pulled up real fast in the driveway, hopped out the car, and started going off on Robin. They said that Steven was yelling at Robin that he wants her out of his house ASAP. She's crazy. You know, just fussing at her. And basically, the gist of it was that she needs to get her stuff and she needs to get out his house ASAP. So now 2 days after Steven tells Robin that she needs to get her shit and get out, on November 18th, Robin is ranting and raving about Steven to anybody who would listen, okay? Like, she's going off about the engagement being off, about how he want her out the house, etc., etc. And around mid-afternoon is when she starts drinking. And at this point, it's not just Steven and Robin in the house. Steven's son, Jameis, is there as well. So the day's going on. And then at around 7 o'clock p.m. on that day, the neighbor starts to receive a series of strange phone calls. And on these phone calls, this person never say nothing. They just breathe and hang up. There was 3 calls in total, 2 of which came from a blocked number, and the third of which came from Steven's house phone. And in my mind, sis had forgot to star 67 that last phone call and was like, oh shit, I'm not calling no more. So anyways, from there, a number of calls was made by Robin. She called her sister, she called a couple of acquaintances, and she even called the friend Mike, who I was telling y'all about, who she told that who she told her engagement was off. Yeah, she called Mike. And when she called him, she asked Mike to take her dogs. And Mike is confused, like, girl, what are you talking about? And she told him that she needed him to get her dogs because she had just shot Steven and Jameis. And Mike on the phone like, oh my God, girl, what are you talking about? What you mean you shot them? Where they at? And Robin said that Steven was at her feet in a pool of blood. And she said that Jameis was lying under a table in his own pool of blood. And so Mike was like, okay, bitch, I'm gonna come get your dogs. Just hold on tight. So Mike get off the phone with Robin. And as soon as he hang up with Robin, he pick up the phone again and call the police. And he tells them what Robin just told him about her shooting Jameis and Steven. And so the police rush to Steven's house. And when they get there, they order Robin out. And she comes out willingly, stumbling and fumbling, drunk off her ass. The first officers on the scene said that they could smell the alcohol on her. And they had her do a breathalyzer test. And she blew a .233. So they handcuff her and put her in the cruiser. And while she's in the cruiser, she makes a number of incriminating statements. And on top of her incriminating statements, she also asked the officer a couple of times if he could just off her, like just take your little service weapon and do me in. And the officer was like, yeah, no, can't do that. And she's like, okay, cool. So if you can't do that, could you at least give me my unfinished glass of wine and a pack of cigarettes? Now, the officer, he was real nice about it, and he said that he would look into it and see if she could have those things, but ultimately she didn't get them, and they took her ass down to the station. And while she was there, she asked again for more wine. She asked for a bottle of wine this time and some cigarettes. And she just kept making these incriminating statements against herself, and she eventually ended up telling one of the officers that Steven had unengaged with her, so basically called off their engagement. And then right after that, she said, I think I'm gonna need a public defender or something because I just gave y'all a motive. So now Steven and Jameis's bodies were taken out of the home and sent off for autopsy, where it was revealed that Steven had been shot 12 times and Jameis had been shot 3 times. And Jameis, at the time of his death, he was only 28 years old. He was born on April 27, 1986, and he was one of 3 boys to his parents, Susan and Stephen Lott. And Jameis was described as a true artist. It said that he found art in literally everything. It said that he thought any act could be an act of art, from the way we treat our bodies to the way we answer questions. Jameis absolutely loved living life and traveling and seeing what the world had to offer. He just loved living life in general. It said that he was such a humble person who had a genuine care for others. Like, he was the type of person who, when he asked you how your day was, it wasn't just a, hey, how you doing, and keep it pushing. It was a, how are you? Like, are you good? He cared so much about other people. And from everything that I could read, the only reason that Jameis was killed in this moment was because he was simply there. So now they throw these murder charges at Robin, and she decides that she's gonna plead not guilty. And she took the case to trial. And unfortunately, the jury wasn't able to hear none of Robin's confessions. Like, anything incriminating that she said, they couldn't hear it. But in the grand scheme of things, none of that really mattered because everybody got on that stand and testified against Robin. The neighbor, the neighbor's daughter, Mike, everybody. And the jury will ultimately end up finding her guilty of both murders. And she was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And I mean, she was 65 years when she was sentenced. So I really don't know how much life she has left, but whatever it is, however much life she got left, it's going to be spent in prison. So yeah, y'all, that is all I have for today's case. Thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about today's case down in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada what? Bang, bang, bang. Okay. I don't know. When I wear hoodies, my head looks small when the hood be like, come on. I look like Beetlejuice. Come here, girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Prayers to her. The mirror versus the camera. The deception. The betrayal. This fucking bun. Woo. Because why is you looking to me to make your doctor's appointments, baby? Call my mama. He was one of 5 kids born to his parents. He was, what? And this is where Steve would eventually graduate from Leland and Gray Junior High School. And this is where Steve would eventually graduate from Leland and Gray Union High School. Damn, this high school's name is a trip. Leland and Gray. Like, y'all couldn't just put it together? Grayley High School. Damn. Kaylin, Leland, no. Leland is the high school. Oh my goodness. And he was an all over and all together. He was in all overall. And it all started when one of Steven's neighbors, who lived part-time in California, came back to Vermont. Ooh. And it's really giving, did I say we was in Vermont? I'm gonna say it again just in case. And eventually the arguments not only were, who am I though? So one day in October of 14, sis forgot to hit the star 67. No, star 69. I star 69 and she hung up again. Okay, so star 69 was to figure out who had just called you. Star 67 was to block it. The first officers on the scene said that they could smell the alcohol